Hello and welcome back to Aston Martin and F1 Manager 2022. I'm not going big face anymore. I'll just do my intros from here. The landing page, Vettel and Stroll above me. One of those might be different next time you click on one of these videos, because our intention here is to go to Canada and then leave Lance there. It's fine, he's probably got a house there somewhere. Now, Canada is a track that doesn't really favour us in any way, shape or form. I noticed the race target swapped over again, as has the qualifying position. I don't know if this has reset itself or not. I think it might have, because I think this one has updated, because I think the previous qualifying position streak in that mandatory target line with no potential loss downside. I don't know what to call these because they're incentives, I guess, because that's already there. The actual sponsor incentives. I think it said it needed both drivers in the top 15 on the last streak, and now it's reduced it back to one, because we've not had a single driver in the Q2 since Miami. Had to think there for a second. Miami was the one where we actually got something out of.
Formula One is back in Montreal. Let's hope it's not going to be Groundhog Day. The local rodents have disrupted more than one race day here in the past. The Canadian Grand Prix is ready to kick off, and the only drama on the tracks we want to see is the best drivers in the world battling it out for a place on that podium. Gilles Villeneuve is a quick, free-flowing circuit in parts, with a stop-start aspect thrown in for good measure around the chicanes and hairpin bends. Medium-speed downforce will play a large part in avoiding the wall of champions and ensuring success at this iconic track. The season is about halfway through, and it makes me wonder what else is in store for the teams. Well, there's only one way to find out. Stay right here, because we're just getting started.
Not quite halfway, Crofty. Just 9 of 22. Halfway is officially after Red Bull Ring in Austria in 2 races' time. You'll see that in 2 days' time on YouTube, and for the time being, you won't see practice, I'll see you for qualifying. On board with Sebastian Vettel for his first flying lap. Again, the car looks weirdly blurry, but a couple of incidents in practice. Carlos Sainz drove into the back of a Haas and picked up a penalty. Pierre Gasly picked up a penalty for something, I don't know what. Vettel had an incident in the final hairpin and went wide, just wide, and then he couldn't, well, the game couldn't get him back on the track, and he crashed twice as a result, and did lose his front wing whilst going about 2 miles an hour. But through the final, well, I say final chicane, obviously there's one before the Wall of Champions, but the DRS detention point is somewhere here. But yeah, it was at this hairpin that he went wide. George Russell went wide at that hairpin and just crashed within that moment. Vettel managed to not crash in the actual wide moment, but and across the line he goes, obviously with purple, which implies obviously he's gone faster than Lance Stroll, who is immediately behind him, to 1:13.3, which feels around the ballpark, well, just under the ballpark that the regular fast runners were going in practice. So expect them to be blindingly quick, as there is a Red Bull crossing the line momentarily. We'll just be able to get some comparison now, maybe. If that was a flying lap from them, it wasn't. Okay. I felt good when we did those laps, and then well, there's the Alfa Romeo coming back in, and then everyone else did theirs. Leclerc, Magnussen, Latifi, obviously massively, but he's not a part of this discussion anyway. But Leclerc, Magnussen, Perez, and Gasly all evidently have some form of hindering. So there's no one already behind us that I feel like we could be faster than. Don't forget, Gasly does have a penalty though. So if he doesn't get out of Q1, he could end up behind us in the actual race. And this is a 1:10 lap, judging by Sainz. So I actually want to send our guys out as late as possible, maybe in like the 1:50 margin. And I certainly want to send Vettel out as the second driver this time, because Stroll's not getting out regardless. Here's the first runners going out for it on double lap time, as they tend to. I think it'll only take about 1:50 to do a out lap here. Obviously the AI is quite good at getting their cars out in time, so effectively, the second we see the last car come out, which will be at this end, there's the Williams. Are the pits not in the regular order here, or did Williams actually finish ahead of Alfa Romeo last year? I don't think I remember that. So the Haas out next, send out Stroll, send out Vettel. 1:50, Jesus, 1:30 they're coming out on. Oh, well, I'm getting a little bit tense that we might not get across the line in time. We're not getting across the line in time. The AI left it really late, and my drivers have decided to weave. Magnussen didn't get across the line in time. I've been done dirty by the AI there, because even the AI didn't get across the line in time for one of their drivers. Normally they leave enough time. I should have looked at the clock and just overruled myself. So we'd be ahead of Magnussen at least. To be fair, we never really go faster anyway. It would be nice to remain maybe Nav Tsunoda. And if it's any consolation, it does look like there's a Williams holding up the Alfa Romeos, but they're ahead of us regardless. Someone's locked up, actually. Oh, it's a Williams. It's the Williams that was ahead of Magnussen anyway. It's Latifi again. Well, that was a bit of a mistake, but never mind. Lesson learned. I mean, we still qualify 16th, 17th, and we probably wouldn't have done any better anyway. Tsunoda, I don't think Tsunoda improved his time, though. That's the only thing concerning there. Gasly's in the top 7. We are going to attempt to hire Pierre Gasly, I think, because as much as Albon does have at least a British connection, we need to remove him from that team.
It's race day, with the teams and drivers ready and raring to go.
Aston Martin did a good job during qualifying.
That felt sarcastic.
A sunny day here with only a few clouds in the sky. If things stay this way, the weather shouldn't pose any challenges to the teams.
And each team will be hoping that fortune is on their side. So bon chance to them and their drivers for this Canadian Grand Prix.
Right then, let's look at setups. Right, setups time then, and what have we got as options? I'll move over to the right because I think that's out of the way. It is good. Right. So 3 setup options here. None of them start on hards. Let's see what the comparisons are. The double pit stop apparently slower, but it's whether or not they can hold their tyres. Medium hard seems to actually work on that front, although I would argue a lap later wouldn't be against the realms of possibility. There is a chance of rain early on, but I don't think it's actually going to be a thing. I might split them just because Seb is better on his tyres. Now again, I feel like we can go laps later on these. We are going for, once again, soft hard with Sebastian Vettel, medium hard with Lance Stroll. The slightly more conservative on his tyres driver on the harder strategy than the one who's less good on his tyres. And in both cases, we are pushing them a little bit further than the actual original strategy is, just because they can sort of do it.
Now we should have good weather for the race, and that will be welcome news for the teams. The race start is mere seconds away. This is it. We're moments away now at the Canadian Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
And everyone's safely off the line. I've forgotten. Hang on. We won't allow that to go any further. Vettel, though, has jumped both AlphaTauris off the line. I didn't see where Gasly started, actually. His penalty must have been hefty to begin with. I thought there might have been a way to check the results, but no. And we'll try to endeavour to remember more in the future. But Vettel's up to 14th, Stroll's up to 16th. The payout comes at 15th, of course. So we're on target already. Obviously push on these first couple of laps as always. Get yourself in a good position. If we get on the back of the McLarens who are 11th and 12th, that'll be nice. I'll pop myself back in here, I think. As things calm down briefly. Sebastian on the back of Mick Schumacher. Gasly's having a go at Stroll. I mean, there's the job application right there. Gasly on Stroll. Actually, that's actually Stroll trying to take Tsunoda, I now realise. But Sebastian Vettel does have the inside on Mick Schumacher. Both on soft tyres, I notice. A pretty even split, but there were 2 strategies that started with mediums, I believe. So it's hard to know who's doing the 2-stopper on the mediums and who isn't, but a lot doing soft hard. Stroll struggling to dispatch Tsunoda in the background. But Vettel's struggling to do Mick. Oh, Vettel's Mick. Oh, no. Can Vettel get the car going again is a major question there. Mentor's taken Mentee out. No, Vettel is completely out, apparently.
There's Schumacher.
He's done a Magnussen here, I think. Oh. He just sort of locked up and caused an incident.
See the contact there, and that caused a lot of damage.
I'm surprised Vettel wasn't able to get that car going again, and Mick was. Safety car. I mean, obviously, major chassis damage, that'll be what it is. Obviously, too early to pit. Time penalty for Vettel, irrelevant. Stroll's up to 14th, just simply because Vettel crashed and took Mick out in the process. There's really no reason to pit. No one's going to be able to take tyres at the end of this stage, so should be able to harvest and still catch up. Yep, we're all caught up now. Mick Schumacher's pitted and has come back out again. He probably will catch up in time. One of those rare incidents when someone actually retires from a race and it's ours. Been going on to the hards, but he did have to replace his wing anyway, so that was kind of a might as well. And he should catch up to the back of Latifi.
Energy's good.
Okay then, so safety car in Canada on lap 2. So effectively it's a new race start as we put everything on maximum for when the safety car comes in eventually, soon. That actually deployed a little bit of ERS there, irritatingly. I wasn't sure quite how early the line was for going on Canada, because obviously there's a big old straight here. People spreading out in every which direction possible. Nothing dramatic from Lance Stroll there. Probably quite sensible, actually. But he's got the drive and doesn't make any attempt to overtake. Tsunoda on the outside of Tsunoda. Is he going to be anywhere near? No, Tsunoda's just going for the McLaren and Lance is just happy to watch. All right, as much as Vettel's had a big calamity there, I'm somewhat disappointed by Lance here. Listed as high aggression, not making any attempt to overtake after the safety car restart. Obviously, a few laps behind the safety car just sort of neutralises the tyres a little bit again. On full deploy, on full fuel tyres, full tyres, still barely able to even make a sniff at Yuki Tsunoda. DRS is obviously, and then backs out of the attack. I know that's AI based, nothing to do with Lance in specific there, but doesn't even look on the inside of Yuki Tsunoda, the hairpin. It is very weird, the decision of when and when not to have a look at drivers. But we got to do an entire race with just Lance. I mean, this is now just the Lance show for his final races for the team, probably. He's got Gasly behind. In fairness, we might as well just have a semi-focus on Pierre Gasly during this race, just to see how the potential recruit gets on. Go on, Lance. Have a look at the inside of this corner this time. Don't back out before you get there. He's on the inside. He's on the outside. There's a wall there, and he's backed out. It does feel sometimes the AI back out in places where they wouldn't back out. I'm deploying until DRS is activated again, in case anyone's wondering, because as soon as that's activated, then he can use that to stay in range. Again, once again on the outside, got a bit of a drive and backs out. When he's got the line, the other driver has to give him the space in that situation, and he's actually out of ERS. He's deployed his entire ERS and not done anything with it. How utterly stupid is that? The Williams have been dropped. There's no DRS here, but they will start getting it as of this lap on the back section at least. Now I saw someone comment, can't remember where it was, that they'd had a bit better luck overtaking by using driving clean air rather than the overtake button, which I believe is on. I didn't change the gearbox, I've just realised. There. Driving clean air is more about cooling than anything, which in fairness actually he kind of needs to do because his tyres were overheating. But I think that's sort of more about just having a position to attack in the first place, maybe. So he'll have DRS now. He can stop pushing on these tyres, in fairness. He does have a little bit of wiggle room in it. Yuki fends off that attack, seemingly, but there is a second batch of DRS here, if he can get a run on it. No, he's just deciding to follow Yuki for the time being, who is 2 seconds off Norris. Lance, come on. Nice attempt, you'll get them next time. I didn't even see an attempt of an overtake there. Engineer just wishing overtake attempts that don't exist. I'm always tempted to let Gasly through so he can take Tsunoda and maybe we'll follow him through. But this is now a bit of an experiment, the remainder of this race, with just one car. There is DRS here, which has put Lance in a good position, but he's always just going to yield at this spot anyway, because apparently that's the thing to do. And because he yields there, he's miles off when he gets to this hairpin. So he has no chance on the actual straight afterwards. Oh well, we'll just accept 14th, and probably that's the race, unfortunately. Tsunoda can't keep up the McLaren, Stroll can't get past Yuki Tsunoda. It's all a bit of a nothing, really. Well, something's happened. Ricciardo's had a moment, and that's put him back into the... Oh, wow, he's caught the curb in a really odd place there, but it's put him into the range of Tsunoda, at least, so now the train starts with Ricciardo, not Tsunoda. Oh, and Magnussen's got past Stroll. It's unbelievable how bad Lance Stroll is, really. High aggression, doesn't even attempt to overtake anyone, ever, seemingly. Despite what my engineer thinks. We do actually need to keep hold of 15th. There's another incident, it seems. Hang on, there's been another incident. Magnussen's got a warning.
Now look at this.
So on the main straight, Daniel Ricciardo being overtaken by Tsunoda, Magnussen's behind and just driven straight into him. Oh, 15th might be a lot better.
There's the crash.
So Stroll's up to 13th now as well. He's a little bit off, no safety car in any way, shape or form, but push Stroll a little bit here maybe, or just use Gasly actually. Just use Gasly actually, that's probably the better thing to do here. Harvest, Lance, if you can. Should have DRS here, so I must say the driving clean air thing hasn't really worked. We've brought his tyre temperatures down at least. I just need... Oh, obviously Ricciardo does have to pit now after that damage. Magnussen's already out the back, and Magnussen's in the back and didn't pit, or he's already pit. Oh no, that's the that's Mick Schumacher, I could see. Head of the Williams. So Magnussen's miles off. Ricciardo's in the pit. Mick Schumacher's obviously already had an incident thanks to Vettel and is a little bit off. But he'll catch up eventually, I imagine. Gasly should clear Tsunoda relatively easily. We harvested a little bit of ERS with Stroll the previous lap. We can probably harvest through this section. I'm going to do micromanagement on harvest, not harvest, because the detection line's early on this bit here. Go neutral here on the other side. Make sure we stay out. Gasly's already got Tsunoda actually into the hairpin. And Tsunoda's the one with the DRS now. Nothing doing at the end of that straight though, but Lance closes right up again. don't know what to do about this race. Do we just accept 15th or try and get the 15th payout? And oh, good lord, Lance has finally decided to make a move on someone. And he does it in the most dramatic way possible.
You did a good job.
Has actually taken Yuki Tsunoda in that process. Harvest through these few corners. In fact, we will actually watch that one off on the outboard.
Let's have a look.
On the outside of turn 1 becomes the inside of turn 2. And that's pretty much easy as you like. All things considered, into the chicane of 3-4. Right then, onto the back of Gasly again. And actually, that plan to let Gasly... Well, I say plan, that decision, that thought that Gasly going through would maybe make it easier for Stroll to get past Tsunoda has worked. He's also harvesting in this stretch as well, I now notice, so slip him on neutral before he gets to the deployment point of DRS, because similarly, ERS is used on the outside of that corner to provide a little bit of momentum. Because every car is faster in the acceleration than us, pretty much. It should help keep Tsunoda at bay on Stroll specifically, and keep Stroll in range of Gasly. Now, we're going to be in a little bit of a holding pattern going forward here, because Gasly is 4 seconds off Norris. So hopefully Gasly's pace is enough to catch Norris. It has been previously. I mean, Stroll's having a look at Gasly here, but I'm kind of hoping he doesn't attempt to do anything, really. Might pull him onto 11th place Norris if we just sort of leave things status quo. Again, harvest through this section, and then as soon as we get to a... Why is this section... Why have we caught up so much? Oh, because everyone's having to lap Magnussen, who is clearly broken as a car. And there goes Tsunoda behind us. So that... Magnussen has pushed everyone into one singular DRS train because he had to be lapped. So this train goes all the way up to 7th place Russell now. As we go into the final chicane, Wall of Champions. That also forced Norris past Ocon, because clearly there was a bit of confusion trying to lap Magnussen. And Norris got past Ocon in the process. I think Ocon might have been even higher than that before that, because I'm pretty certain Zhou was 10th at least. So I think Ocon's lost at least 2 places in the confusion of lapping Magnussen there. Yeah, but Magnussen is clearly not working as a car anymore. They really ought to retire that car at this point, because it's just going to be a bit of a danger going forward, just full stop. Oh, Stroll's actually fallen out DRS range. Cool. Go aggressive on the tyres a little bit, Lance. You've got a little bit of wiggle room.
Lean on the tyres more. Yeah.
I mean, at the very least, if you're behind at this detection point. Why do you yield, no matter which side of Yuki Tsunoda you're on? What is wrong with you, Lance? High aggression, and he's always yielding to Yuki Tsunoda there. Regardless if he's on the inside or outside, you don't need to push on the tyres because you're behind someone again. You got the DRS from other...
Yeah, take it easy.
I only made him push to get back in the DRS range of Gasly, but then that became the DRS range of Tsunoda, so problem solved. Is it just your driver versus AI driver, or is it just Lance Stroll that's a problem? We are dropping Mick though, so either Mick had his own bit of damage, or he did just have to lap Magnussen actually, I suppose, so that might have been that. I don't know whether Ricciardo might have had a reasonable amount of damage too, because it doesn't really look like he's catching up to the Williamses. There is a bit... Just for full race update though, there is a 4-way fight for the title, and there's a 4-way, and there is a 4-way fight for first place here. The title contenders all within 1 second of each other. Verstappen, Sainz, Leclerc, Perez. Hamilton is driving by himself in 5th again. Alonso is driving by himself in 6th. And then Bottas is now the head of the train. That goes all the way down to, well, Gasly for the time being, because Tsunoda fell off it, which might make him a sitting duck for Stroll if he decides to actually be good at something. Go aggressive on the tyres, Lance. Go aggressive on the tyres. Make the attack, or just let him go into the pits. Did Yuki intend to do that? No, Yuki did intend to do that. There was just a separate yellow flag at the same time.
Is that a lock up on the
Oh, it's Latifi locking up. So actually, we do need to go aggressive to get into Gasly's DRS. I'm not going to push the ERS at this stage, just because the tyre pushing and the fuel pushing should do it by itself. I say should, not getting it anywhere near enough. Okay, so Lance Stroll is now driving by himself a little bit because it's just Norris and Zhou left in the train. Everyone else departed from it. And now I'm out of DRS again. And now I'm out of ERS again to push. Zhou's pitted now as well. Both Ferraris have had their incidents, but it looks like Leclerc's wasn't too damaging, although I think actually the other contenders have pitted. Verstappen's come out ahead of Hamilton, and Sainz's lock-up has happened after he's gone to his hards already. So Leclerc started on the mediums then. But yeah, unfortunately Stroll's by himself now, and 9 seconds off Russell and Norris. The lack of a DRS train has really hindered Lance Stroll here, as Hamilton now pits. The medium runners should pit soon, at which point we go great guns ourselves. We've still got 53% of our tyres. We've held on to that. We've got DRS. We've got ERS in bank. ERS DRS will never not be confusing. I know which is which. It just, the brain doesn't say the right one at any given moment in time. Magnussen is a full lap off Latifi at this point. Why are they not retiring their car? I don't know. But So Hamilton's come out in the window ahead of Stroll, actually. That's a lovely window for Hamilton to come out in. Mick is still 6 seconds behind Stroll, which is good for us in the overall. And pit window is now active. Now, we're on 52% tyres. The theory is to pit in 3 laps, I presume, if that's the pit window open. I'm wondering if we just go aggressive for these 3 laps. I think we go aggressive for 1 lap, and then we go actually active for maybe 2 or 3 more. Because I think going aggressive on even 35% tyre wear is still faster than being standard on, say, 40, which is kind of the alternative. I think we can let Lance get 1 or 2 more laps than he was already on, or planning to do. Leclerc, Norris and Russell all in the pit, so this is the moment to really go for it. We might deploy for the in-lap as well, and then deploy for the out-lap. So Lance is temporarily up to 6th, but that won't last. So we just push these tyres to within an inch of their life at this stage. Right, we'll ignore that pit stop because he's still on 46% tyres, which is pretty good. He can do at least 2 or 3 more laps on that. Have somewhat ruined the fuel a little bit, but still. Latifi's had another moment. Right, so Lance comes in on this lap. We deploy on this lap. We go full fuel on this lap. And then we'll do the same on the outside as well. He's losing time to the train behind, but he will not have much fresher tyres for the remainder of the race. Every other hard runner, apart from Norris and Albon, that matters, is under 80%, under 90% of their tyres already. And Stroll hasn't even gone on his yet. We are in a good position. Everyone else is going to have about 10% worse wear. Oh, Russell's on 93, but he won't matter by the end, I don't think. So into the pits, Stroll goes. Down on the limiter, lap 32. Everyone gets past now. We do fall to 14th. Tsunoda is kind of the one we're challenging, though, because we fell off the back of that train anyway. Oh, Tsunoda might actually get past here. This plan might not have worked particularly well, because Tsunoda's going to be on our right-hand side there. We will join out pretty much exactly alongside him, I think. Why are we going slow here? I think Lance was attempting to yield, and then the AI for Tsunoda yielded to Stroll at the same time. But yes, we deploy, go for all out as well. So intriguingly, we've come out on these hard tyres, I think 2 laps later than we intended, which means they're in a much better position by the end of this race. He's come out 7 seconds behind Stroll. That train is a problem. When does that train negotiate Magnussen? Not long, actually, till that train negotiates Magnussen again. You can see him on the minimap here. He's only the straight ahead of them. It might be well worth pushing. Now, in terms of deployment, we just go back to neutral here, but in terms of deployment in the other 2 factors, it might be well worth just staying in deployment modes until they catch Magnussen, so then we can get on the back of that train again. Because they lost about 6 seconds last time they had to negotiate Magnussen as a whole. So if we get within 6 or so seconds before Magnussen, we might be alright. And of course we can harvest fuel and save tyres a little bit when we're in that train. I don't mind not being in the points as long as we're above 15th, we get the payout. Okay, so that train is just catching Magnussen now. It's not too long before they catch the Williamses either, but that train is now catching Magnussen, so it is causing problems. Oh, they've caught Magnussen at the chicane. This is going to be utter carnage. They've caught Magnussen at the chicane and then turn 1-2. Oh no, I think they've actually negotiated. Fine, it's Mick who's at the front of that train. Oh, they negotiated him fine because they caught him on the straight. I got distracted by Mick. They just all went past him on the straight. Oh, that didn't work out. Although Mick is the head of this train, surely it shouldn't be going that quickly. Because he pitted for hards early on. Okay, well, Stroll's driving by himself. There's no real point pushing then anymore then, because can't do anything about it. Tsunoda is clear behind him. Ricciardo, at the very least, is going faster than the Williamses, even with possibly some damage of his own. Over half race distance is now Sainz from Perez from Verstappen from Leclerc. Which is odd because Sainz pitted first and had a moment. But Stroll still has 93% tyre wear when the next best is Hamilton, Russell and Norris on 86. I do wonder if some of these tyres are going to go off towards the end. If we just keep Stroll's healthy. The only concern is, with no DRS, they're just going to disappear into the distance and we're not going to have any say in it. But the thing is, they'll all go off at slightly different times as well, so maybe that might cause its own a bit of panic. How long till they catch Magnussen again? They'll probably do it before the end of the race, at least. It's not too long before they catch Latifi. Latifi's on the straight and they're just coming down towards the hairpin, so it won't be too many laps before they catch Latifi. There has been a crash, sector 2. People are moving around all over the place in the list. Gasly has some form of penalty. He's involved.
Safety car.
Oh god, there's another safety car.
Stay positive.
We shouldn't have any issues catching up at this point. How many laps did the mediums do? We took them 30 odd laps, didn't we? But no one else will pit. Lance has only done 6 laps on his hards. Stay out.
No DRS.
Stay out and just benefit. Oh, Bottas is in the wall behind there. And the thing came up with a Mercedes as the colour coding. So the Mercedes is involved, Bottas is involved. So it's Pierre Gasly into the back of Russell. I mean, great job application there, Pierre. You'll fit right in. It's taken both Bottas and Russell entirely out. We can watch it again because it's counting as 2 separate incidents thanks to Bottas here. Wow. The Mercedes man and the former Mercedes man, absolute passengers there as Gasly locks up. So Stroll will be up to 11th. Stroll could actually get points just before we sack him here. Oh my God. The Aston Martin safety car and he just took out Lance Stroll. That would have been ironic. Magnussen's pitting. Not that matters. Doesn't look like any drivers are taking advantage of the safety car either. It has happened at a slightly awkward time of the race. Because everyone's only about 10 laps or so into their hards, and it's just on the cusp of making mediums sensible. Because even we pitted on lap 32, I think, on our mediums that we pushed to the end almost. So you'd have to be going relatively slowly on those mediums to get them to the end in a comfortable window. And quite frankly, I'd rather not lose this train. I might need to push to catch the bloody safety car queue here.
More.
Latifi's locked up behind the safety car. It's happened again. We haven't even caught up. Everyone else has caught up. We haven't.
Do what you can.
I have to deploy to get on the back of this. We got there. In fact, actually, we will go aggressive out of this. We just about caught up. As did Tsunoda behind. Ricciardo and Gasly didn't, however. Oh God, there's lap cars in this. There are lap cars in this train. There are Williamses and Magnussen is somewhere in here. We'll be a little bit aggressive because we can afford to, because we have that little bit extra tyres. Stroll semi having a look at Ocon there. Williams ahead gets out of the way as Lance Stroll decides to maybe just drive straight into it. Lance is bloody useless, isn't he? Right. I mean, it's weird AI coding probably, but pushing him, Magnussen's pulled back in actually ahead of, I think. No, that's the actual Haas of Mick Schumacher. That's not the one that's being lapped. Where is Magnussen? Oh, we're clear of Magnussen, actually. Magnussen is behind us in the queue. So we're now attempting to stay on the back of Ocon whilst there is no DRS. Once DRS is reactivated, we can pull back on everything again. Russell got a penalty for driving into the back of Bottas there. That's something that I'm aware is a thing in Football Manager, in F1 Manager right now. That is something that I'm aware of that is happening. If there's a 3-car crash the way that just happened, the car that initiates it, which was Gasly, gets the penalty. He's had a pit stop, so that's kind of been neutered out. Someone's had a moment. But Russell, who was crashed into, well then crashes into Bottas.
Yellow ahead.
Oh, it's Gasly again. Also gets a penalty. That's a problem. I mean, we're nailed on for 11th. Well, we're nailed on for 12th here at the very worst, which would be Stroll's best result, but it's by default. I mean, the only car he has legitimately behind him at this point is Tsunoda. Everything else has been a gift. I mean, welcome to Canada, Lance Stroll. It's a shame Latifi's not had the same gifts, really. Right, DRS is now enabled, so we'll roll around as standard now, because I don't think Stroll's not making... If it was a McLaren directly ahead, if it was Norris directly ahead, I'd think that Stroll might have half a chance. But it's an Alpine that's directly ahead. An Alpine are pretty good in a straight line. So this is just a case of holding on to Ocon as best we can. Now we're actually in a train again. Mick's fallen off Alonso. You can see Mick's fallen off Alonso. So I think that says everything. We have to push to stay in line with him, really. But DRS will help. I can't really see there being much to do now for the remainder of this. We just sort of stay in line with Ocon and hope for the best. We might catch Magnussen one more time, which might cause a little bit more confusion, but we'll see. Everyone just seems to be happy to continue in the order they're already in. Oh, Gasly caught Ricciardo and passed him, so it does look like Ricciardo does have some damage that Gasly doesn't, because that seemed way too easy for even Gasly. Well, this line of drivers now begins with... Oh, hang on. Well, I was going to say this line of drivers begins with Norris, but he's been overtaken by Ocon and Mick Schumacher in the time it's taken me to flick off the map. Zhou has gotten... Well, I say clear, but no, Zhou's now heading this queue. It looked like he was momentarily clear of it, but I did say the McLaren might be the easiest one to pass out of this lot, because I think they are the car ahead of us now. I think the Haas developed a little bit. I don't know about the AlphaTauris as a whole, really, as the car. They're hard to gauge because Tsunoda's often the one that we're fighting with, but Gasly tends to be a lot faster when he's not crashing. Now, it's worth saying that's the only time I've seen Gasly do anything wayward in any race so far, so we won't hold it against him. And if that is actually Gasly's one and only mad moment, then we're picking him up at the right time. If we do. Still got to work out contracts and what have you, of course. He may decline. But Stroll, on the back of Norris, I mean, there's a point here if he wants it. I mean, as a team, we'll take the point. So then Stroll, you can keep him in Canada if you want. Ocon's now the head of this queue, and I suspect Ocon might run away from it. Although I think actually the Alfa Romeo and the Alpine might have comparative pace. I'm surprised a little bit that Mick's able to hold on here, because his hard tyres are about to go... Oh, that's a point. Why did Gasly go on softs at the safety car? Magnussen did as well. Why did they go on softs? And more importantly, why did Gasly go on softs that he clearly used in qualifying? Magnussen clearly went on fresh ones. They are not going to get him to the end of the race. Probably. But Ricciardo's hards are going to get to the end of the race. Maybe. Actually, no, their hard tyres are getting closer to the 60% mark. Norris's are okay. But the other drivers are getting a little close to 60% on their hard tyres. They probably will last the remaining 20 laps, but Stroll's still sat on 73% hard tyres here. I mean, Mick is about to detach from this train as soon as they go under 40%. All right, I just saw Mick flash out of 1 second for the briefest moment there on lap 53, 17 laps to go. Still on the lead lap, of course, because of the safety cars. We're still on 70% tyres, and Mick is on 41. His pace is about to fall off, because that's kind of how this game works. 40%, the pace comes off. 30%, you're in big trouble. And Mick's already at 40%. I mean, hard tyres was the sensible thing to do when he came in, but he would probably be able to go on softs now for the remainder. But he does still actually have to make that pit stop. Can't do any worse than 14th, really. We will watch this development with Mick with Ernest. Are we catching someone? No. The Williamses of Latifi and Albon are behind us. Gasly is about to reach them. Magnussen is about half a lap away. We will catch Magnussen by the end of this race. Again. He's got to yield for the leaders again, so that will push him back a little bit in that process. But it's only been 14 laps since the safety car, and there are 16 laps remaining, and he's about half a lap away. So Magnussen will come into play at the end of this race again. Probably. Oh dear. And by the way, I just said that Mick's pace would be going off. He got past both Ocon and Zhou there in the DRS. That seems to happen quite a lot. The car that is 2 cars behind often gets past 2 cars in the process. I've seen that happen a lot in DRS trains. Happened a lot in Baku. Vettel did it in Baku. You saw it happen. So expect here Zhou maybe to take the lead as Ocon's taken Mick in the meantime. I say the lead of this train. By the end of the second straight, I'm expecting Zhou to be the head of this train because Mick's tyres definitely have gone off now. Surely. 39%. In fact, Ocon's pitted. I forgot about the option. I forgot about the strategy option. That was medium hard soft. Ocon has done medium hard soft. Oh, you silly boy, Esteban. Tsunoda's done it too, which makes us clear in 10th now. We can't do worse than 10th, I don't think. Because we're not pitting again. Unless Stroll does something stupid. After the second safety car, I think I've been off camera. Apologies for that. I'll get used to this eventually. I don't think Stroll can do any worse than 10th now. I mean, I titled episode 3 Carnage Down Under because there was 2 safety cars. This has got to be Carnage in Canada. Not to reuse the title, but Jesus. This is even more befitting of the title of Carnage. Right, shows past Mick. Norris is still in the back of Mick. Stroll. It's not great news for the constructors because there's a Haas in here and there's a McLaren in here. In terms of AlphaTauri, this is fantastic because they're both behind. But they've got... I mean, in fairness, they've gone on soft, so they could easily catch up, Ocon and Tsunoda. They've got to clear Gasly in the process, but they could easily catch up. They've also got to negotiate a Williams, I now realise, because they came up behind the Williamses. But I don't want to do anything stupid with Lance here. I just want him to drive round. Mick, why aren't your tyres going off? Why do your tyres not go off after 40%? Why aren't you apocalyptically slow at this point? As soon as our tyres hit 40%, we're going a second slower. Now, don't get me wrong, he's not catching Alonso, but he should be biblically slow at this point. I'm expecting him to pit, really, actually, so Stroll's really on for a 9th here if Mick does actually pit, eventually. Zhou's nabbed him here. Lance will nab him on this straight. Sorry, Lando will nab him on this straight. Did I say Lance will nab him on that straight? Lando will nab him on that straight. Too many similar names. Esteban and Sebastian has thrown me earlier in this season, and now I've just Lance and Lando. Now, Mick, 6/10 off Norris there. This could be the moment his tyres have gone, actually, now I've just complained about it. He does appear to be struggling. 7/10 off, 7/10 off. DRS will help him here, but DRS will only keep him status quo on Norris. We might need to attack Mick here. In case he doesn't pit, we might need to attack Mick on this next straight. We've got the tyre users to do it. We don't have the ERS because there's no real way to harvest it without falling out of the DRS train ourselves. We'll try and attack. Mick is irritatedly gaining on Norris on this straight because Norris is not really getting past Zhou. Oh, I thought Mick's tyres had gone there. Oh, he's gone on the inside. Hello.
Yeah.
We'll just allow that to be a failed overtake, Lance, shall we? Not the point to overtake him, Lance. Not here. Just overtake him on the main straight if you can. The DRS slingshotting, by the way, is the only reason why Alonso isn't driving away from us right now. Because none of us have ever had DRS on Alonso. But it's that DRS slingshotting that happened in Baku as well that caused problems for Vettel in Baku in particular. I really thought Mick was falling off this train, but he really isn't yet. I don't think the AI tyres fall off until 30%, and Mick's still got 4% till he hits that point. Oh well, that's 10 more laps to go. Mick's still going. He's not pitted yet. Mick's tyres have gone. He's 1.5 seconds off Guan Yu Zhou, which is slightly irritating because Guan Yu Zhou is now not going to be catchable, but Mick's tyres have definitely gone. So this is the point to at least go aggressive. I think we may just settle for 9th here. We'll work on the assumption that Lando will clear him relatively straightforwardly. Just out of curiosity, how low has his tyres gone before? So under 30% is when AI tyres go off. That seems slightly unfair. Oh, we've already got past Magnussen. Oh, that's slightly disappointing, actually. What are you doing, Lance? What are you looking at here? Let Lando get past Mick, for God's sake. Why can't Lando get past Mick? What the bloody hell is going on here? All right, I might actually tell you to harvest then, because Mick is going so slowly, it doesn't really matter. We've got plenty of fuel in the tank. We'll just let Lando deal with Mick, hopefully, and then we'll go for our own. Oh, another car spun. Sure. Might be Magnussen again. Oh no, he's ahead. Ricardo's turn 1. That's not sector 2 then, is it? Well, the good news is we managed to harvest a little bit there. We won't do it on the main straight because we might be able to do something on it, but harvest through the rest of the lap. Why are we so far off? Go on, Lando. Yay, Lando's going by the end of the straight, which means you'll be able to use DRS to push forward on the second part. Now, Stroll, can you get him? Didn't even look. Didn't even look. Come on, Lance. Come on. I believe in you. Full attack. He's already 1.6 seconds off Lando. This is hugely problematic if we want to do anything with Lando. But we push now. We deploy now to try and get on the back of Lando again and use his DRS.
Let's take a look at the
We'll watch that again because this has been really low for highlights for us. I mean, great camera angles there. The focus pretty much was entirely on a different car for the most part there.
And they clear it.
But we have been gifted this 9th, really. Like, in the long run, Vettel's gifted us that because he took out Mick at the beginning, which forced him to change his tyres to hards at the very beginning. Stroll's within a second. We can stop deploying. We'll keep on the push just to make sure he doesn't lose him towards the end of this. We'll keep a relative amount of push just so we stay on the back of Norris here. Show actually caught Alonso somehow. Ocon and Tsunoda didn't make as much inroads onto Gasly as I was expecting either. There we are. Well, Mick's fallen off the back of us now, so 9th seems relatively nailed on. We could nick 8th. Stroll could end up with more points than Vettel at this stage, and we're about to get rid of him. Oh well, we're playing the long game here. I mean, Stroll's looking to the outside of Lando. I mean, we're sort of pushing at this point, but at the same time, we're sort of not. I mean, I can keep him on that, probably. I can probably keep him on aggressive, and it's not going to be a problem. There's only 4 more laps, and he's not going to hit 40% at any point.
5 to go.
I mean, this race has sort of fallen into Lance's laps towards the end. I don't think we're going to get to Alonso / Zhou, but not that far ahead, actually. I thought they were further ahead. I just saw them It's only 3 seconds. I mean, if we go attack briefly, just to build up the gap on Norris to make sure we break that DRS, that'll be lovely if we can break that DRS before the detection point. I don't think we broke it by the detection point because that's before the corners. Yeah, Norris's time will come right in there. And again, the detection point is annoyingly quickly after these corners, so you'll definitely be in it before the main straight. He crashed so hard he nearly broke the game.
Oh man, that was such.
No, Lance. That was you. I mean...
A definite collision there. That's very unfortunate.
That's what Vettel did, but does less dramatically.
The team had such high hopes. What a shame.
Cost 4 points, that. That's 4 points. 4 points. 4 points up the Swally there, Lance.
Here's the replay.
Oh, you get to watch it again.
Going wide like that could cost them valuable time.
Crofty, read the room.
The team are devastated. They'll be questioning just what happened out there.
I know what happened out there, Crofty. It's Lance Stroll is what happened out there. Why are we still watching a race? Both our drivers are out. Roger. That caused a safety car. It did. Even worse, they put Gasly into 10th for another AlphaTauri point. I'd rather Ocon. I mean, Ocon's on the back of Gasly here, so hopefully Ocon nicks 10th. so we can at least catch AlphaTauri, but Mick's back up to 9th. Actually, with mixed tyres, if the safety car comes in before the last lap, which it is, we'll go on board with Ocon to see if he actually does it. Someone's crashed in Sector 2 somehow. What?
You can take a look now.
Verstappen crashed as the
We're
safety
just
car came
watching
in.
the Red
What happened
Bull.
here? Safety car restart. And he's gone straight on, has he? Yeah.
Ooh, a nasty
And then done
crash
a
there.
odd crash into that pillar there. That's just a yellow flag though, I think, so not a problem. Sector 2 yellow flag it says, but it's turn 1. Oh no. Verstappen went to the back. Lance would have been 7th. I mean, obviously no safety car. The safety car is what caused that crash, so we won't count that in, but Ocon, get Gasly, mate. Get him. Make sure AlphaTauri only get 1 point, not 2 here. Has to get 4 points because of that. Thanks, Max. Tsunoda's on the inside of Ocon here, which is even worse. Oh, Gasly has no tyres left. How has Gasly got... It's only just taken this long for Magnussen to get past Stroll, despite Stroll being out. There's been another incident. Oh no, that's just because the race is finished. Both AlphaTauri's got in the put. Ocon, what are you doing? Gasly had no tyres left.
That's Leclerc.
Crashes everywhere in Canada.
Nothing went his way during the race, and Lance Stroll is stuck with a disappointing result.
I wouldn't say nothing went his way. Everything was going his way until he decided to stroll it.
Well, that's not quite the outcome expected there for Aston Martin.
This is a very punishing outcome. But there are many lessons to be learned here, and I'm sure the team is already working on new improvements.
Yes, it's called signing
With the
Pierre
race
Gasly.
wrapped up,
For the next round, we're heading back to the heart of the UK. Get ready for a race to remember in Silverstone, the cradle of Formula One.
Pierre Gasly went up. He started 17th, Pierre did. Latifi actually got ahead of Albon in his home race. So again, 2 races in a row. Latifi's beaten Albon. And if that doesn't say sign Pierre Gasly, I don't know what does. So yeah, Pierre Gasly obviously crashed in that one as well. Didn't take himself out in the process and still got 2 points because of everyone else crashing. I don't think what Mick Schumacher's tyres were on by the end of that as well. Thinking about it. How Ocon didn't get Yuki on that final lap, I have no idea. But Max Verstappen's done a Hamilton and Baku moment there, where after a safety car restart, just puts himself at the back and puts himself out of the entire race as a result. Carlos Sainz actually qualified 5th. Hamilton actually qualified ahead of a Ferrari there. Norris with 3 points. Sorry, Norris with 3 positions, 6 extra points for Norris. Oh, absolute worst case scenario. Obviously, gifting points with McLaren, Haas and AlphaTauri. Unbelievable. But the good news is AlphaTauri's points stop here. Hopefully. I'm on the wrong side, but you can see who's who regardless. Stroll's still got 600 points. And of course we don't get any bonuses because both drivers crashed. Great. But if the game did things properly, Mick probably would be out. This has got nothing to do with my leadership, Patrick. That's got entirely to do with drivers. We've noticed that the braking performance of Lance Stroll could be improved. You're taking... It's not the time for jokes, Chris. Not the time for jokes. Anyway, bye, Lance. Bye. That's the last we'll be seeing of him, probably, as we replace him for the next race. Who with depends on negotiations. But if you have enjoyed this action-packed calendar episode, then do give the video a like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal by now. Algorithms do matter. Until next time, ta-ra. Somebody take Lance's passport before he notices.